You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show. Hello and welcome back to Movie Beaters for the Farx Brothers. I'm Kirk.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're here with Tricia Buerke.
You almost had it. There you go.
Buerke.
Yep. There's the extra E on the end.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
Believe in yourself and,
I got to take two so I could edit that part out.
I don't know why, but when you started singing that, I started singing Reading Rainbow in my head.
It's kind of like that. It's from the Teen Titans Go to the Movies soundtrack. It's also in the movie. Mm-hmm. Believe in you. Anyways.
But we're here with Tricia Buerke. Actor, producer, and upcoming director
Of
Should I Still Claim I Have Mind Powers?
Yes, you should. Why wouldn't you? If you
People think I'm crazy. I don't know.
Fair. Would you want Steven as your heart surgeon?
Depends on what
you
year.
need heart surgery? Oh, what
Was
year?
he
Yeah,
drinking
like
at the time?
was it like his drinking period or was it like his current period?
So I think that's the first bait is like, did his drinking affect him in this way that ended up with him killing Martin's dad? You think so?
I think so. Yeah,
for sure.
I think so, specifically because he pushes all of the blame no matter what. He does not take any responsibility at all. And he's very adamant of like, nope, a surgeon never kills. It's always the anesthesiologist. Like,
I looked that up, and
is it true?
Well, out of every million surgeries, like 8 point something are the fault of the surgeon.
Okay.
And out of every million, like 1.1 are the fault of the anesthesiologist. So it's factually very untrue for Steven to say it's never the surgeon, it's always the anesthesiologist. And it's also factually untrue for his anesthesiologist, who's that character actor who's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. To say it's never the anesthesiologist, always the surgeon.
But the thing you could take away from that is like, out of a million times, only 10, and that's a very insignificant number.
Yeah.
Unless you're, one of the few people who happen to be related to the person that died, like Martin is.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I guess if you're surgeon in this country, one would hope that, you've...
Don't drink and do your job well. Yeah.
That's like a thing that you see because Lost had that where Jack's dad, you both never watched Lost.
I've seen season one.
Yeah, I used to watch it a long time ago, with my parents.
Yeah, isn't it Jack's dad was an alcoholic and was a doctor as well?
I don't fucking know.
I'm just wondering what the alcoholic doctor thing is. It seems like a theme.
I mean, it's a very stressful job.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's like a way to just, one, forget about the pain that you're in from being hunched over and like working for X amount of hours, and then two, to just like forget about the horrors of humanity and like the things that come through your door. If you're like, specifically, I'm thinking like trauma doctors, like ER surgeons, that kind of a thing.
Have you watched The Pit?
No, but I've had a lot of people recommend that to me. I heard it's very good.
I will add my name to that list of people as I watched all of it in like 2 or 3 weeks. I waited till more of the episode because it's 24 meets ER.
Okay.
Where every hour is an hour in the ER and it gets progressively worse.
My grandma was actually the first person to tell me about that. She was like, have you seen The Pit? And I was like, no, I haven't. She goes, you gotta watch it. And I was like, all right, Grandma.
How does your grandma feel about gore?
Hates it.
That's
she
fascinating.
still watched it, yeah.
Yeah, she still watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
So like there's this thing. I was having a conversation with our friend Chelsea Knight today about horror movies and how she feels a lot of them automatically go to like very gruesome violence, like B-rated horror movies that feature nudity or
So fun. Love it.
I mean, yeah, I've watched those too, but like this, you made the argument in the non-spoiler section that it was a horror movie.
Psychological horror.
I appreciate the subgenre delegation. I still think that it is absurdist comedy, which, why can't we both be right and live in a pluralist society?
Yeah.
That's the point of having baits about movies.
Someone's got to win in this debate. Or this bait.
Someone's got to win this bait?
Yeah.
Well, let's go to the hardest topic then. Who would you kill? Everyone take a different person.
Who would I...
The funny debate I had with my wife was, I think the best person to kill would be Anna. The wife. You kill the wife, not the boy or the girl.
I mean, I could go multiple different ways on this. One, the boy, because he's already almost dead.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, his eyes are bleeding. Like, that's like the final stage. Like, he's almost dead.
But he can recover.
He could. But like,
You're taking kill the boy, he's almost gone.
kind of.
And you're suffering, yeah.
That way, otherwise there's also the way of Kim. She literally is trying to sacrifice herself for the rest of her family. And he is like, but then the wife, once she was like, we could always have another kid. I was like, okay, fuck you.
Yes, that's exactly the moment I was arguing with my, not even
damn.
arguing, it's like, honey, I think he should kill her.
Like, die for your kids. Huh?
I think I watched this movie the first time after my older daughter had been born, and I had to like, my wife would stay up late, and then I would wake up early, and like that was easier. And then I just watch like anything I wanted on TV, or probably because it was like, well, this kid can't, really understand what's going on. So I watched Killing of a Sacred Deer, and yeah, it struck me as like, I love my wife, but I wouldn't kill this child over, an adult person. I don't know. I think that's, I hope to never be in that circumstance.
I do think that the way he went about killing was like
The dumbest way to do it?
Yeah, I feel it was really dumb.
it could go either way.
Okay,
Like,
make the argument.
the argument that I have was he did that specifically so he would not have to claim responsibility over who he killed.
Yeah.
And that's like a big thing for Steven specifically, is he just does not want to take any responsibility for anything. So putting that over his head and just spinning and just shooting, he's like, oops, they got shot. Like that, like he's not making that choice. But again, like, what a fucking coward, man.
I think you make some food thing, and then you add whatever would kill somebody to one of the servings.
You're like,
and then you spin it,
I mean,
and then say,
just use a
okay,
revolver.
everyone take one.
A revolver would probably make it easier, right?
yeah, just Russian roulette.
Russian roulette, yeah.
Russian roulette at your family. No, because I'm sorry, but I have to reference Louis C.K.
Okay,
and
go ahead.
his joke about like, when you commit suicide, you can tell how sensitive somebody was by how they thought about their body being cleaned up afterwards. Don't gun kill somebody. It's messy. Gun killing is very messy and loud. Do they die from something inside of them, fall on the floor, and there's a death like this towards the end of season 3 of White Lotus.
That's another show that's on my list.
An almost death,
Wait,
or maybe it is death. I don't know. Maybe it's an ego
Can
death.
Steve not kill himself? He can't, right?
It didn't seem like he could. Why is that?
I don't think that he would.
Oh,
Like, I don't think that would be one. I mean, this kind of goes into the question of like, why didn't Martin just kill Steve? Because it's not an eye for an eye at that point. It's if he killed Steven, there would be like no justice in any of that. And I don't think that Steven would kill himself, because he sees himself as like this greater, I'm better than everybody kind of a situation.
What What Bible story were you thinking of when you were thinking of Anna kissing Martin's feet? Which Bible story is that specifically?
The one of, I think it's Jesus kissing,
Washing the
Mary
feet.
Magdalene.
Oh yeah, he washes the feet of the sex worker, I believe is how the woke Bible
Or
says
like,
it.
also like Pope Francis, I was watching his
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Watching his life recap, basically, and he also did that of like washing and kissing people's feet.
Oh yeah, you see that in the Two Popes with Anthony Hopkins and I can't remember the other actor's name, but that's the one where that one's a comedy because Pope Francis versus Benedict. Like, Benedict is this moron who eats like junk food, watches dumb TV, and Francis is like, oh, look at me, I'm a man of the people, and I have this way to progress the Catholic. Like, that's how I took that.
Yeah.
Neither of you have seen Two Popes. So when you bring up Stephen killing himself, that would be like God killing himself, which God does do in the Christian faith by killing Jesus, his son.
Yeah.
A part of him.
But again, I love the idea of the fake God thing and Stephen thinking like he's a god. Again, I don't think that he would be that selfless in doing that for his family. Like, he didn't even consider that in the movie.
Yeah, you're right. It's not considered.
Not at all.
Well, it's a movie about hubris, right? Like, he's got hubris. He doesn't think he could even kill a patient. It would always be the anesthesiologist.
It's always the anesthesiologist.
Somebody else, yeah.
Why do you think it starts with an open heart surgery?
Well, is that Martin's dad, or is it not?
Oh,
Because I thought it was Martin's dad.
that would be a good explanation
Yeah.
for why it opens there.
I think it's that, and then I also could see it being like beep beep.
Yeah, that's an
Sorry,
alarm.
that car.
Wait, will that get recorded?
No, that alarm in the background. Yeah, it's pretty great.
That's okay.
I also can see it as like, again, just that like God complex of like, look at, I literally have your life in my hand. Like it could be Steven, like it could be Martin's dad. By all means, that would be so cool if it was. But like, that's the kind of imagery I got of it, of like the...
Yeah, holding your heart in your hand.
Okay,
In his hands.
I'll
yeah.
argue it's not Steven's dad just because it's based
Martin's
on...
dad.
Thank you very much. It's not Martin's dad because we're seeing just another day in Steven's life at the beginning, and kind of like how everyone speaks in a monotone, and most of the colors are muted except for Nicole Kidman's lovely eyes.
And Bob's.
And Bob's lovely eyes.
And I think Kim's. I think they all have blue eyes. Maybe Steven's the only one that doesn't have blue eyes.
Oh, it super grossed me out when the daughter did the like lying on the
The mom thing?
Yeah.
The like cadaver thing? Ugh.
Wait, okay, so let's
Or
try
the
to break
surgery
this down. Why does Nicole Kidman lie like a dead fish for her husband?
Is that a...
I
for
think it's
fetish.
a power thing. I think it's like the fetish power.
It's not him thinking about fucking with people under
It
anesthesia.
might be. I thought about that. Yeah,
Okay.
it might be that too.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
So
God.
let's have the power argument, then let's have the anesthesia fetish argument.
All right, Tricia, you go first.
I think it's the power of like getting back that power that he had when he was actually performing the surgery, of like not thinking about the body, like not thinking about that, but like just the essence of the power of like, there is like literally somebody that I could kill if I wanted to. And then her recreating that is kind of, as I see it, the only way he can get turned on.
Well, at least it's not choking.
Well,
Oh God.
but like he's very like, he's a self-centered man.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
so it's like that like ego kind of a thing that she's just like rolling on.
Arguably, then the killing of his son is killing off his line of like boy childs that had to.
Boy child.
Well,
What?
Boy child.
I
yeah,
was just
damn it.
reading a Bane book to my younger daughter because she loves Bane. And when Bane is born, he has to serve the crime of his deceased father. And only a boy child or a male child could serve the sentence of a deceased person in the fictional part of the world that Bane is from in Batman.
Perfect.
Well, my argument is that...
Yeah, tell us about that
Yeah.
anesthesia fetish,
I mean,
you sicko.
technically... Yeah, thanks.
No, this turns me on as well. How's it going? Are we willing to do anesthesia roleplay?
I mean, technically, it is also has to do with power, because I don't know, it's like...
Everything's about power dynamics.
It is
with these
power.
people.
So is it like the darkest parts of his mind that he has to hold back? Because technically he does have this life in his hands, but now that it's just his wife, it is consensual. Well, I mean, when you go into surgery, it is consensual too, but in this instance, it is more consent to do whatever you want with the body.
Yeah.
So maybe that is him regaining some control in some kind of dark fantasy.
What percentage of surgeons out there do you think are like actually just a
don't
little bit turned on?
I don't want to
I
hear
didn't
about
think
that.
about that, yeah.
See, the movie brought me there, and I think it could just be it's like a sick. Oh, I don't know. I get turned on when I see these naked bodies,
mean-
and then I cut into them.
There's also like the people that are turned on by like corpses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
necrophilia. We had Paul Economon nominated for Best Actor.
I love.
Oh yeah, and he talked about he used to work in mental health care, counseling for, and he said like a necrophilia. There was something else. It was like necrophilia something, and it was you had to like I don't know what it was. Go but listen to the Once Upon a Time in
I
Hollywood
definitely
episode.
involved with a teenager who wanted to do something with dead bodies.
Well, it was a
Yeah.
teenager who got chained up by extreme Mormons.
Yeah.
And then they left like a goat died, and they put popcorn in its butt, and they jump
Wanted
on.
to play with a dead body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real
And then
messy.
this kid needed counseling.
Yeah.
Obviously. Good God.
And
Oh
so
my
mental
God.
health care is so important, I guess. I was telling Paul as a counselor, like, like going to the movies and just feeling things to like, I like horror movies. I like how loud they are. It makes me feel better about my problems. I'm like you, Tricia. Him over here, he gets nervous in the horror movies. It makes his life worse to think about, you know.
Yeah, all the bad stuff that's gonna happen.
Did we have a consensus on? See, she made an argument for killing each different person. I feel like we got off to. Let's kill. Which kid would you kill? We gotta
finish this argument. Who are you leaning towards? Is it a power dynamic or is it a? I would say
power and then power fetish.
Power fetish, yeah.
Yeah.
Does he need to feel power to get hard, or is it that the lack of power of the other person is what's getting Mr. Penguin?
I will add this tidbit onto your argument is that Nicole specifically asks what the operation was like.
Yes.
Specifically. So I mean, that could flop either way, but that is a very specific thing in there.
The next time I'm around a doctor's, which I will be, I'm going to bring this movie up to every doctor I talk to.
None of them are going to have seen it.
It's going to be a very awkward doctor visit. Yeah.
They're like, oh, that movie gave us such a bad rap.
Excuse me, Mr. Farx, could you turn your head and cough? Have you seen Killing of a Sacred Deer? You know, that'd be totally fine.
What you think about that fetish scene? Yeah.
Oh, God.
When you see anesthesia, do you get hard?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm wondering if it was the anesthesia or if it was when they were open.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, opening them up is
Maybe.
Is that
a form of penetration? Yes.
I didn't think that, but yeah, sure.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But
that's what people say when it's you're definitely wrong, but I can't argue with what you said specifically because it technically is correct.
It's technically correct. But is that what he's imagining is them being opened and not just asleep?
Okay, let's fuck this up more then. So,
all right.
Oh, God.
Well, then what does that say about his relationship to Martin's father, who he, was
got
inside of and then failed? Couldn't, complete the thing the right way.
Is that the drinking part? Is that giving him self-control to, I don't know,
it's to deal with his lack of control. He's trying to put himself out of control by drinking would be my argument for his drinking.
Is it the control to get him out of control, essentially?
Reverse argument. He's controlling what he can do. Just because he has to do surgery doesn't mean he can't have 2 drinks.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I can't argue with that. Because you're technically right.
Again, terrible. It shows me that you have a terrible thought pattern.
Terrible.
But it's his job to be there sober and do the job well.
Yes. To be clear.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but does he lose control or is he testing that power?
Yeah, I think it's that.
Testing,
I think it's his ego is so big. He's like, it doesn't matter how much I drink. I'm going to save this patient.
I'm going to save this patient right here on this table. Yeah.
And then get off about it later with my wife.
What I hate about that is how I can relate to it from white collar sales is, let's see how many drinks we can have and still close this thing. I'm not saying I've ever heard of that happening, seen that happen, or experienced such a thing. I am just now theorizing a hypothetical that could...
Well, I mean, to be fair, most business deals are done during dinner or drinks anyway. So, I mean, it happens.
Lower your inhibitions.
Yeah.
So when she jerks off the anesthesiologist in the car,
what a turn.
Why does she do that?
To get
information.
Answers,
yeah, get information. Because she knows that he's wanted this from her. She specifically says, the other night or something like that. The other day at lunch, what have you. I don't remember when she had said that.
It's like a barbecue event that we're at, yeah.
But that's how she basically gets answers out of him. Mm-hmm. And so it's flaunting that sexuality, femininity of getting what I want. I love her deadpan face during the entire thing. I love it. It's hilarious.
A deadpan face handy.
And then I just, in her own car.
So what bothers you most is that it's in her car. If she had gone into his car, given him the handy, that would be better?
Yeah.
Less worse.
Because then you can just smear it on his seat.
From the perspective of someone with a car and someone with a wife, it does not make a difference to me which car she,
it makes a difference to me.
As a woman, I understand and respect
as a woman,
that.
But also
you can wipe it somewhere.
Wipe it somewhere else. Because she invited him into my car is a safe space. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's I zone out. but like that's like, this is mine. Like not like this is a bubble, and her bringing that one energy, but two like
doing that thing, yeah.
Doing that thing, that sexual, giving a hand job to get answers in her own car is just like, I wouldn't want to do it in my own car. It's probably just a personal preference.
No, I now want to, that's subsequent to this, since my wife wouldn't listen to this, Mrs. Farx, for weeks if she did. I now want to ask her, like, which, does it make a difference to you? Like, if you were having an affair and, you know, doing hand stuff with somebody, one of my colleagues try to get information from them.
Another thing, though, is that she's sitting in the driver's seat. So if she gets anything on her hand and she doesn't have anywhere to wipe it off,
it's going to be on the wheel.
It's going to be on the wheel. She's going to be fucking touching it. Ick.
I would also argue she's more willing to do a lot more stuff than the husband is to do anything.
Specifically for her kids at first, but then she changes her mind.
Yeah.
And we can have another one?
She is a great character. I can see why Nicole did this movie. I'm glad I've talked through it to this degree. Here's why she does it in her car. She knows where the hand wipes are. She knows where she can wipe it.
Okay.
Sure.
She knows where she can, under the seat with like the boogers. Like,
I mean, unless it's her husband's car. It could be her husband's car. That could work.
Oh, that's
She's
a
mad at
power
her husband,
move.
yeah.
If it's her husband's
isn't he
car.
the breadwinner? So isn't it all kind of...
She's an
ophthalmologist.
She's an eye doctor, okay?
How dare you?
Sorry, Dr. Nicole, we come to this place to give handies to that guy who's been in so many good things.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, no.
Character actor. Why does Colin, and I'm sorry, this is, where the podcast is at right now. When he brings up that his daughter started menstruating to that guy at the...
Yeah, that was weird.
What is our interpretation of why that information is relevant at that?
One, maybe doctor lingo. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure non-doctors can say menstruate. Are you an expert? You just throw around menstruate out here? I menstruated from my nose earlier today when I got hit in the face.
Oh, that's
See, I put it in twice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Technically, that doesn't count as menstruating. Menstruating is
Well,
completely
I don't know.
different.
I'm not a doctor. I can't use the word
exactly.
correctly.
How fucking dare you? I think it was like Dr. Talk. It could be Dr. Talk because they were at like a doctor convention. But also the idea of him like one-upping. Because like Nicole talks about like her son playing piano. One-upping that like my daughter is old enough to have sex, basically. Like that kind of like one-upping. Like it's a really weird one-upping.
It's a word brag.
I'm...
Weird flex, but okay.
I want to be clear on how disgusting the thought I'm going to bait you on. It's not that now she can have sex. It's now she's able to be childbearing.
Exactly, yeah.
Gross, but...
Yeah.
But that, like, learning to play piano is a skill, whereas, like, Father Time decides for all of us
But it's an
humans
important step in, like, a woman's life.
I saw that episode of King of the Hill.
All right.
Where Hank kills David.
Yeah.
I think I just blew out the mic. I'm so sorry.
You know where Hank kills David gets her and he just goes, I gotta go pick up some tampons. I don't know where to go in the Biggie Mart. I'm gonna show that to my kids sometime.
Perfect.
Yeah, I feel
Wonderful.
like that's how we'll learn to talk about it in healthy ways.
Wow.
Screw the self-help. Your body's growing books. Let's watch King of the Hill.
My wife will definitely be into that stuff. Mrs. Farx is, her degree is in counseling. Her master's, excuse me, just so
They're said.
Master wife is what I call her when I go inside.
Talking about fetish. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, all right. I thought you were going somewhere.
Well, that made me think of like what kind of fetishes can you look down on, and any sort of plantation fetish you're allowed to look down on.
Plantation?
Yeah, the word master. Weren't you guys around when we were supposed to be changing the term master bedroom to something else because it implies the history of slavery in this country?
Oh.
But
I don't remember that,
understand
no.
the correlation between masturbation and plantation.
It says master in masturbation.
Well,
because
what else
I
do you
said the
call
thing
it?
about master wife, and it was like that's a new fetish where you like have the power dynamic to then be reversed with my. Yeah. That's okay. You'll catch up someday. I'm very confident in your ability to
I'll get there.
Oh, good God.
This is a little bit dirtier than the Baby Girl podcast in Nicole. You sultry minx. I don't know. Is it dirty?
I gotta
Do you know the
re-listen.
premise of Baby Girl? Oh man, it's so good. If you like this movie, you're gonna love Baby Girl.
Okay.
Because
I'll
it's
have to put
Nicole
it on.
Kidman.
I don't
Your
know.
face.
There's no horror in it.
I mean, I like other movies that aren't horror
I know,
movies.
but I think if it was a lot more horror, I think you would like it a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is just...
That was a movie we had an argument about whether it was a thriller or a comedy. And everything, to be honest with me, for myself, I would want it to be both. I hope it's thrilling for everyone else and hilarious for me. Because that's a great movie right there.
Yeah.
Where,
People could disagree with you.
so maybe, yeah, because people, active disagreement while I'm in,
Yeah.
like when we were in Thunderbolts, that woman and I were the only ones on the same page laughing about the
about it?
horrible thing
Yeah.
happening to the child.
Wow.
It's not real, it's a movie.
Yeah, I know that, but I guess I have a real reaction to it.
I wish I could feel things like that. That'd be-
Oh, God.
Oh, I thought I was the one who was pessimistic.
No. How's he going to get away with shooting his son? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't get how he gets away with that, but not killing 4 people and burying them in the backyard.
Again, messy crime.
Yeah.
To shoot somebody in your living room and miss twice beforehand. No one's going to make an argument for, the gun just went off.
I mean, if you think of it in like the fantastical, supernatural kind of a thing, it could have just all like went away.
Yeah, he worked out. Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
like it's a
still-
rich, white, wealthy,
That's fair. Yeah.
like that kind of a family. And also, he was already not walking, a lot of doctor's appointments, not eating, like all of this stuff.
He could have
But yeah.
died suddenly over the weekend.
Yeah, but the
The coroner is going to be like, hey, what's this bullet hole doing in, his
You're not going to
chest?
ask questions. I'm going to pay you off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go with he pays off the... What do we think about this movie as a metaphor for white male privilege? I found that analysis out there, and there's no other people of color in the movie, is there?
Definitely not. I don't remember seeing anyone.
I mean, not until Poor Things does he really have, diverse
I wouldn't
casts.
see it more. I wouldn't see it as that. Like that's not what I would have taken away from it. It was more of like that power and like thinking that he's just better. Like it could have been anybody in that role, and it's just the thinking that they're better than everybody else and they don't have any consequences.
But I think specifically as a doctor, though, right? Because they could get away with almost anything. He killed a guy on an operating table and nobody questioned it except the son.
Well, I mean, doctors have a lot of latitude because they're gods,
but
right? So,
Yeah.
Gods who get away with it.
but
Yeah.
I'm gonna bait you on how white males have. I'm gonna argue why this is an allegory for white male privilege as the white male.
Yeah.
Well, I'm adopted, so I don't actually know my ethnicity, but yeah, I claim whiteness. So because of the power dynamics and not having consequences for his actions, you both just made the argument. Hey, he's able to get away with this stuff because he's a doctor. So therefore, it's a metaphor for how white males can get away with more stuff than non-males and non-whites.
Whites, yeah, go ahead.
That's my argument because Tricia said she didn't see it that way, so now I have to argue a way of it being like that. And
Yeah.
I
But
don't
if it was somebody of color, like I would just see it as the I just see this as the doctor aspect of it.
And that's how I actually view it, so I don't really
cool.
want to make the argument. But I read the analysis.
Knock it off.
No. I'm not telling you to knock it off. I mean, I read the argument. I wanted to make the argument. These are ideas.
Yeah.
It's good to talk about ideas. Like we know when we watched the movie, they didn't actually kill the kid, so it's okay to talk about.
I was genuinely surprised, I will say, when the kid like got shot and died. I don't know why the first time I watched it, I thought that like nobody was gonna die. Like I thought it was just gonna resolve itself. And so when he like started bleeding, I was like, damn, it's the kid. Well, and then also I was like, it should have been the wife.
That's the thing that stuck out to me from the first viewing of it and I was telling Mrs. Farx throughout, like, there's an image in this movie I'm thinking of, and it's Colin Farrell spinning in circles in his living room with the gun, because that's why this is a comedy. It's so dumb.
Also, nobody makes a noise.
Yeah, it's dead quiet.
Yeah, the wife and the kids, nobody says anything or makes any sort of whimper. Even when the thing, like they shake, but no sound.
Yeah, that's not how someone would be if they got shot. Yeah, I mean, Reservoir Dogs, like, ah, bleeding out, I I don't
Yeah,
know
but to be
anyone
fair, I
who
think everybody knows they're in this situation where somebody has to die, and they are just. I mean, maybe Kim is more accepting. She wants to sacrifice herself for it, and the wife probably not as much. But
I think the wife,
Yeah.
I feel like,
And-
yes, Kim sacrificing herself. I feel like the wife, maybe all of them, but the wife specifically didn't make a noise because she didn't want to be heard
yeah,
and like mentally like swing the gun that way.
Okay. Because then he would be choosing in some way, so they're all quiet. That's a great...
I mean, I would have laughed if they got up and kept moving around the circle too and switched seats.
It's just musical chairs.
Or just get behind the
That
chairs,
would have
leave the
played
room.
more to the ridiculousness. Yeah.
Well, the two kids can't walk, so.
Oh, right, that's fair. Oh,
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? So why did the kids get lame, but the mom didn't?
because they didn't
I
panic.
think,
something?
again, it might go back to that Greek story of it being the daughter that needs to get sacrificed.
So essentially, children.
Yeah, specifically the children. But Kim does say, like, does threaten her mom basically of like, well, you see what happens when you can't get out of bed and you're lying on your
Right,
bed. Like,
yeah.
there's the hint of it.
Wait, is okay? Are you talking about how Kim lies naked on her, or not naked, but in her bra?
No.
and-
No. So there's a scene when both Kim and Bob are in the hospital laying down and the mom is
Yes.
there checking on him. Martin shows up in the parking lot.
yeah.
Kim gets up, walks to the window, and then sits back down.
Because she's on the phone with him.
Because she's on the phone with him. And then in that scene, she says, "Fuck you, Mom, for I don't want you seeing that boy anymore,"
Yeah.
what have you. She grabs her phone, says, "Fuck you." And then there's some slight physical abuse happening. But then Kim basically threatens, like, just wait till it happens to you. Like, when you're lying down for so long, you can't, like, whatever she says. But she's, like, threatening her mom for it actually happening.
When Bob falls out of the bed in that scene, that's really
Yeah,
funny.
he
to
tries to walk.
It's like, why
his sister,
why
yeah.
can Kim walk and I can't?
Yeah.
me. Really funny. That's why I
God.
think it's an absurdist comedy, not a thriller.
I will say another part that I thought was really funny the first time I watched it was when Steven is literally dragging Bob in the hallway and his feet are like, like he's just ragdolling Bob in the hallway. He's like, walk. And then he was like, let's do it. Let's tell secrets. Like, let's play a
Yeah.
game. Tell a secret. And then he jacked off his dad.
Yeah, that was weird.
Because his dad was a drunk. His
Yeah.
dad was a drunk. He's a drunk, and he just jerked. But then he became a doctor. So if you
He just wanted to see if he would ejaculate more than he did.
Yeah. You want to
yes,
compare
bigger balls.
output. Yeah.
People only
Ego.
care about results.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. There's some, I can see some of the, I laughed in absurdity. Yeah.
Why does I don't think we covered this. So why does Kim deadfish like her mom? Like, how did she see no to
Yeah,
like
do that.
Like,
I mean, there is the possibility of that her walking in on her parents.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing that I thought maybe, and like as a parent, that's one of my biggest fears. Lock your doors. Come on.
I think that more than likely she probably just walked in and saw that happening, and like it was like the beginning of whatever Anna and Steven do of him, like that weird hover, whatever the fuck he does.
Yeah.
Before they actually like start.
Hey, don't kink shame. This is a non-kink shaming.
True.
I mean,
You
they-
can shame
they
him
go a
for
little bit
being a
far.
bad person, but not his kink.
Not his kink.
He jerked off his father. You know, he's a weird guy.
Yeah.
Some people, man, they
Then he
grow
went
up
from
different.
jerking off his father to banging his wife, who acts a little bit like she's under anesthesia.
Yeah. So I think that's just how her young mind perceives like being able to satisfy a man.
I'll make a bait to that in terms of maybe it's like she didn't see her parents. It's just she's picking up the vibes of this is how women transact in this world.
That could be it too. Yeah.
And, you know,
Submissive.
yeah, because her mom is a submissive, even though she's an accomplished doctor who works on eyeballs.
Who works on eyebrows?
And she's got beautiful eyes.
She does.
Alright. But is this submissive? don't
I
know.
would say that's submissive. That's giving up everything.
Well, I guess I didn't see it being super submissive.
For her to like dead fish in front of
No,
Martin?
No, I mean when they're in like public in their house, like she's not like being ordered to or being like, hey, what should I do? Be a housewife.
It's
kind of thing?
I think it's something you'd pick up on because Steven like kind of gives her a food order. You know, even though they're both doctors, he's the more elevated doctor, and she does the cooking and the, you know, that sort of stuff.
And then he tells her later, I don't need your opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, so that like if you act like that, kids will pick up on that. And
that's fair.
so that's my argument for why she didn't walk in on.
That makes sense. Yeah, I would believe that.
No, bait me. I'm kidding. You've done.
I'm very much the back and forth devil's advocate.
That was good for putting up several counterpoints.
Cool beans.
Tricia, we're gonna have your interview next. What can you tease about your interview?
It's just fucking weird, man.
No.
I'm trying to remember what my interview was about.
We talked a lot about the things you were interested in, and I was surprised because I wasn't ready for it.
About how I'm just a nerd.
Which is fine.
It's about Dungeons and Dragons. It's about Magic the Gathering, specifically Junji Ito and his drawings of Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
And then that being like an inspiration for should I still claim I have mind powers.
Thank you for listening. For more on JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.